Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Artist Matters. I'm your host, Alex Rudy. And it's June. We finally reached June. Summer months. Gotta love it. And it is my third month doing this. Yes. The Artist Matters has been on for 3 months. Holy cow. But thus far it's been a delight getting to know these artists and learning their stories. And we got a very special one today. It's taken a while, but finally managed to secure an interview with my wife, Rudy Monico. She is a dancer, choreographer, and fitness instructor. And she can sing, too. So she is so creative in those ways. Her journey began in Brooklyn, New York. And she found herself jigging and dancing to the music of the time. And as she got older, she happened upon an aerobics class in the 80s and was hooked and wanted to learn more and eventually teach it. And she buckled down and immersed herself in all that she could about aerobics and choreography and came up with her own little routine called Jazzarobex, which is to this day what she calls her fusion of aerobics and dance that she teaches in her classes here in Florida. But it started in New York. And of course, when we moved here to Florida, she had to keep it going and has been to a few gyms, and people follow her wherever she goes and keeps taking her classes, as do I. I always take her class at least once. And it's lots of fun. She's such a great teacher, and people love her, as do I. But it's fun to see the routine she's concocted. I sometimes see it in its early stages, and then to see it done with the class and everybody following along, keeping in step, it's great. With the organization, she was certified with AFA, or what it stands for is the Aerobics Fitness Association of America. She also became an examiner where she would test up-and-coming fitness instructors and make sure they're doing their routines safely and correctly. She also got into Fuse Craze, where she was teaching instructors choreography and have them create their own choreographed routine at the end of the day. When we got involved with the dinner theater down here in Florida, Standing Ovation Dinner Theater, she got involved in the shows creating choreography for Zeus's Big Surprise and Homecoming at Transylvania High. Lots of fun learning those steps and seeing what she concocted. It was great stuff. Also, she can sing. We met at karaoke, and we knew the karaoke DJs, Vanessa and Bobby. Wherever they went, we followed, so we got to know each other, and obviously it worked out. I even proposed to her at karaoke. Couldn't resist. And we've sung many duets together, and it's great to just see her go up there and sing, and such a good voice. And of course, she sings at our church, Hillside Community Baptist Church, with the praise team. She's been doing that for about 5 years now. And there's so much more to share, but let her tell the story. So here we go with such a special episode with my wife. Here she is, Rudy Monico. All right, boys and girls, the moment has arrived. I'm here with my wife. Here she is, my Anna. Hi.
Hi, hon.
Yes, my second in-house guest. Makes the most sense because...
I live here.
Yeah. She's so cute. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And let's begin. And let's begin at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York.
So, what was it like living in Brooklyn?
Well, as a kid, I used to spend a lot of time outside. I used to have a lot of friends. Used to play a lot of sports outside. I was very athletic to begin with. So, didn't know I had half the abilities that I have today. I never knew what I could accomplish being so young. But anyway, I was very active. Being the background that I've been brought up with, I used to spend a lot of time in my room. Big, huge Beatle fan. I used to sleep with my little transistor radio next to my ear, listening to WABC on an AM station, and Cousin Brucey and all those neat DJs back then. Very much into Motown, very much into music. And I remember being the first one on the block to own my very first Monkees album, that everybody wanted to come to my house and listen to it. But I was a big Beatle fan, so I was 8 years old when they arrived in America, and that's where I think it all began.
So, the Beatles got you jigging?
Yes, indeed. Especially I saw her standing there. That was one of my favorites.
So, as a little girl, did you always have this enjoyment of dance?
Well, to tell you the truth, I remember up until, well, as far back as when I was 4 years old, I was at my sister's wedding. She was 19 years old and getting married. And I do remember being on the dance floor, twirling around, dancing. Don't ask me what songs were being played because I have not a clue. But I know they had to be something good because I was up there twirling and dancing and just having a good time. And I remember family all clapping and smiling and laughing and, just, I guess, enjoying what I was bringing them at the time that I didn't know I was bringing them. So when... lots and lots and lots of years later, when I was with my sister at her house one day, we were looking through old photos, and I opened up her wedding album, and I said, you have family pictures. Where am I? I remember going to this wedding, and I said, how come I'm not in the picture? And my sister turns around and says, well, you would have been in the picture if we could have got you off the dance floor. You did not want to leave the dance floor at all. So that's why you're not in the picture. So I guess that's where my gift came to light.
So as you got older, were you the motivator at parties to get people on the dance floor?
Pretty much. Back when I was a teenager, my friend, that I can mention his name, Anthony Balsamo, but I know him as Tony, we used to go to the Good Shepherd Church. They used to have a dance every, I want to say, it had to be like on the weekend. I can't remember exactly what day, but him and I used to go, and we used to shake our tushes off and just have a great time. And I always loved dancing. When I had parties, as a kid, I was the one that was up dancing. I was the one getting everybody up, keeping the beat, just doing my thing.
Did your dance and music kind of help you through some of the hard times?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Growing up in Brooklyn and with parents back in that day, in that era, things go on that as a kid you don't know what's going on in their lives. So, I came from a rough background. And I would say, verbally abused. But you know what? It's all okay because I turned out all right. And I think music... back then, like I said, I used to put the transistor radio by my ear so I wouldn't hear any yelling or screaming. And I just used to fall asleep with the radio at my ear every single night. And I still have that transistor radio. So just to let you know.
And how did the world of aerobics enter your life?
Let's see now. Well, my first husband, we were stationed in New Mexico, Clovis, actually. He was in the Air Force. And I was trying to get myself back into shape. I just had my daughter. She was 2 months old when we moved from New York to New Mexico. And it was a good experience because we were able to be a family, just the three of us. And, I had one-on-one with my daughter all the time. One of us was always with her. My ex-husband, Brian, used to play basketball. So he used to play at the gym. And I used to take the baby down there and, we used to watch him play ball because basketball was a very big thing with me back in the 70s and 80s. So I was a big basketball fan. And I noticed in the corner of the gym, there was some kind of a class going on. So I wandered over I like the music because, I'm a music girl. So I heard music going and I said, oh, that's a good song. Let me go check out what they're doing over there. And sure enough, the instructor came from Connecticut. I don't remember her name. I wish I did. Little petite African-American girl. She was adorable. Loved her. And she taught kind of like a dance aerobics, which was a little different than I always remember seeing. And I took a couple of her classes, and that was it. I was hooked.
What was the transition to say, you know what, maybe I'd like to teach a class?
Yeah, well, I love dancing. Like I said, I love dancing, and I love creating and creating choreography. So I asked the teacher, I asked the instructor, I said, how does one go about to be one of you? And she gave me all the information I needed. I went to the books, I took the tests, I went to workshops, and then I became indeed a aerobic instructor. And that got me through a door to open up to become an instructor at a gym. Now, but the top one was AFA. And I'm not good. I wasn't a good school person. I didn't put my heart and soul into school, and taking tests used to frighten me. So that was one of the biggest things of me not taking the test for AFA because I was afraid I was going to fail. But then, I knew the practical part I had down pat because anything to do with dancing and putting choreography together, and keeping a beat to something, I'm there. But book-wise, I wasn't, I was afraid. So I really studied, and just kept going to different mentors of mine to their classes and listening to them speak of the body and the alignments and the safety and the fun and all that other good stuff. And I was very happy that I passed the test. And you would have thought, I won lotto, but that was a big achievement for me. And I was very proud of myself at that time. And then that just got me started working. Let me see, my first gig was at Eastern Athletic Club in Blue Point, Long Island.
Oh, so you didn't teach in New Mexico at all?
No, not at all. I waited till I came back to New York. Once Brian was out of the service, we came back to Long Island, and then I was concentrating on doing this. And then after that, becoming a fitness instructor, then I became a personal trainer, certified in that as well.
And how long is the whole process of, saying I want to become an instructor to actually becoming one?
Give yourself a good year and a half to just go to different classes, take other instructors, see how they do things. You have to learn the techniques. You have to have a warm-up. You have to have the meat of your program. You have to have your cool down, which is your flexibility, and sometimes a little meditation too, if it calls for it. But other than that, it's a process. So I'm going to say give yourself a good year and a half to take classes and then study books and do a lot of workshops. Because, just because you are teaching group fitness, it's great to get yourself certified or take workshops in like kickboxing or step, because you can incorporate these type of other elements in the class that you want to